Hello everybody, how's it going? I am, of course, the Timeister, and welcome back to the Greater Timbukton region. Happy 2019. It's about time. It's like mid-January, so I figured it's about time that I wish you guys that. But anyways, we're going to be doing something pretty special this episode. As you see on your screen right now, I am constructing a large fort right downtown Timbukton, right smack dab in the middle of the Timbukton Peninsula. But if you know anything about Halifax, Nova Scotia, you'll know that there is a huge fort right in the middle of the city, the Halifax Citadel, and this is what we're going to be emulating here. It's not going to be the same shape. I've tried to create something of the same shape, but it didn't work out too good, so I'm just going to create a star-shaped fort, which I think is like the most common type of fort in the world. But anyways, this fort would have been constructed when Timbukton was founded about 300 years ago, and it has since become a large tourist attraction and a heritage site of the city. So it's a protected site. It's one of the most famous landmarks in the city. So it has since become one of the most popular tourist attractions in the city. So we're going to be constructing the fort, and we're also going to be modernizing it to modern standards, and creating all sorts of venues and stuff around it that any other tourist attraction would have, such as like a bus depot and a parking lot, of course, and all of those essential things. So as I'm working on this, I will be explaining a couple of things here and there about it. In the last episode, I mentioned that I was creating a video editing course. So lately that has since been released, and that is ready for you to watch if you so choose. So I'm going to talk about that for just a couple minutes. So basically my goal with this video editing course was to inspire or help any aspiring YouTube creators, whether it be for gaming or, it can be vlogging, it can be for anything really. My goal with that was to help anybody who may have been a little bit intimidated with Vegas Pro or Vegas Movie Studio, which are one of the most popular video editing platforms. And I helped to, just go through the software and explain how everything works and basically get you up to par where you can start creating some basic videos with a little bit of practice. So that course is live on Udemy. It's available right now if you want to watch it. So I'm going to put a link down in the description. And if you guys want, go check it out. One other thing I'll add, because you guys are super awesome, I'm going to give you the course at a really good deal. Use promo code Timeister and you'll be getting the course for $9.99 US. The course is priced at $50 US normally, but if you use the Timeister promo code, you'll be getting the course for $10. So it's a almost 3-hour course. I go through 8 different modules, so I explain every aspect of the software, from video to audio editing to a plethora of different things. So if you guys are interested, go check that out. It would help me a lot. And let me know what you think also. Leave a review or whatever you like on there. So that's what's been taking up a lot of time lately and hindering, I guess, the development of videos. But that is done now, and in 2019, I plan on focusing a little bit more time on my City Skylines series. So I'm going to start to take the series a little bit more seriously. Well, I mean, not that I wasn't taking it seriously before, but I'd just like to spend a little bit more time and progress the series a little bit quicker. So far we've been making pretty good progress on the actual city of Timbukton. I have most of the city sort of planned out in a very broad sense. So I sort of have an idea where everything is going to go and how the city is going to develop. But we'll just have to see how it goes and watch the city progress. So right now we're working on the fort. In a little bit, I'm going to start to work on the port of Timbukton, so the main seaport right downtown. If you watched the last episode, you will have noticed that I've developed a large part of downtown. So basically what I've done for that is I've plopped down a lot of the main skyline buildings, and I've left a whole bunch of empty spots everywhere. It was just to get a general sense of how downtown is going to shape up. So in the coming episodes, which I have already recorded by the way, I end up expanding a little bit on downtown and also detailing quite a bit. So I've just plopped down a bus depot. We're going to detail that in just a little bit. And now I'm just going to add a couple of little features here and there. This is actually a really cool set that's available in the workshop where you can construct your own forts. And what's kind of funny is this is actually called the Citadel, this kit here. I think it's based off of some citadel somewhere in Europe. I'm not really sure, but this is like a perfect set of props and things. And because initially I had downloaded this fort or whatever that was just one big building. I guess you just plop it down, and it was probably a quarter of the size of this fort. It was all right. That was initially what I was going to do, but the details weren't too sharp on it. It looked like it was kind of maybe created a couple of years ago and wasn't really up to my specs. So I decided to push that aside, and I just haphazardly found this fort on the workshop. So I decided to construct my own fort. It's a little bit larger than I was anticipating, just because of the pieces that came with it are quite large. But that's all right. I mean, it looks pretty cool, and it fills up this entire area pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with that. So back on the subject of 2019 and all that, I'm planning on involving you guys a little bit more into the series. So back when the series first started, and I'd say more so with the Aubrey City series, is that you guys were included a little bit more. I was asking you some polls and stuff all the time, and I feel like I've sort of let that go. So I'd like to start doing that again. It's just sometimes it's kind of a challenge to know what to ask you guys. As I have most of the city planned out in my head, and not that I don't want your guys' help developing the city. It's I already have a general idea of what I want it to look like, and it's just I don't know where to ask for help. I will say, however, your guys' suggestions are really good. So even if I don't reply to all of your comments and whatever, I do read 100% of my comments. I promise on that. And a lot of your suggestions are really, really great, and I do plan on implementing them in the series in the future. So I know a lot of people have been suggesting building like some sort of naval base or a military base. I've noted that down, and I do plan on including it into the city. Actually, I do plan on building a naval base a little bit sooner than you might think. So yeah, I mean, I do read 100% of your comments, guys. Don't feel like I'm ignoring any of you, because I do take note of your suggestions, and I do plan on implementing most of them into the city. So now back to the game. Essentially what I'm building now is the barracks and depots inside of the walls, and I'm sort of making them into a tourist attraction, and I'm sort of using the Halifax Citadel as a guideline. So a couple of years ago, I actually took a tour of the Citadel, and it was pretty neat. They explained about how the fortress worked and how everything was built way back in the day. And essentially, you have your main walls, and in Halifax anyways, outside of the walls, you have these huge trenches, and that was just to protect against incoming armies and stuff. But inside the walls is where you have your barracks and your supply depots and all that kind of stuff. So essentially what they have done in Halifax is those buildings are actually still standing. They're like 300 years old, and they've made them into just tourist attractions. So they actually still look as they would 300 years ago. They still have like the original wood floors, and much of the furniture is from that era, and they've just made it open to the public where you can walk through it and sort of look around and see how everything was back in the day. So that's exactly what I'm doing in this case here. I'm just leaving the original building standing and making a little park outside where you can just sit around and walk around. For much of this build, I was just going off of whatever experience I had in the Halifax Citadel. So I think it looks pretty cool. I've decorated it a little bit more than the one in Halifax, as it's much larger, because the Citadel in Halifax is just like a huge gravel field when you're like inside the walls. And I just wanted to add a little bit more beautification in this case, so I added some trees and flowers and bushes and stuff while keeping the original buildings. So now what I'm doing is I'm just finishing up some minor details, like this bus depot right here. I'm not going to add a ton of detail in this part of the city. It looks really cool from afar, and I mean from up close it still looks pretty cool. That is pretty much it for this episode. In the next episode, guys, we're going to get in some pretty interesting stuff in regards to downtown. I'm going to start to detail sections of downtown, and we're going to be building a hockey arena, as hockey is like the main sport in Timbukton, much like Halifax. And I've actually found a indoor arena that's similar to the Scotiabank Center in downtown Halifax. So it's going to be a pretty interesting project. So I can't wait to showcase that as well. So with that being said, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel for much more content on the way. And be sure to go check out my Udemy course as well if it interests you. And again, don't forget about the promo code. And with all that being said, guys, until the next episode, please take care.